What's going on, guys? Today, I want to discuss the recent report from Pierre LeBrun on TSN talking about if Mikko Rantanen were to hit the open market, he'd be looking for around $14 million for the next 7 years. And I want to discuss my thoughts on it. This has been a hot button topic for many fan bases, especially the Chicago Blackhawks, since they're going to have an abundance of cap space this upcoming offseason and not too many big ticket players that need a deal so far. So I want to discuss if this deal makes sense for the Blackhawks, and again, I want to hear your guys' thoughts as well in the comments below. Be sure to also like this video. Let me know as well if you like this type of content. If you guys want to see more types of videos like this, more than happy to do so. So let's get into Mikko Rantanen, and we'll just discuss a little bit about who he is, what type of player he is, and then I'll discuss my thoughts on if I think the Blackhawks should go and consider investing $14 million for the next 7 years into a guy like him. All right, so let's discuss a little bit about Mikko Rantanen, what type of player he is, who he is, etc. So Mikko Rantanen is currently a winger on the Colorado Avalanche. He's 28 years old this year. So regardless of where he signs next year, it'll cover his age 29 season. Now, if the Blackhawks were to give him a 7-year term, which is the maximum for a player who hits the open market come July 1st, it would go till his age 35 season. Mikko Rantanen is a power forward. He's not as gritty as I'd say a guy like Matthew Tkachuk is, but he still is just an absolute unit on the ice. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, and he's amazing at scoring goals. He has 399 points in his last 312 games, so that covers these past 4 seasons and the start to this season as well. And this year is no different than his past couple of years, 32 points in 23 games. This guy is a bona fide superstar, for sure top 10 player in the NHL. I know a lot of people, it's kind of similar to the Draisaitl McDavid conversation of is Draisaitl just good because he's playing alongside McDavid, or can he run his own line alongside McDavid? Obviously, both are amazing together and are also amazing apart from each other. And I see the same thing as well with a guy like McKinnon and Rantanen as well, where even if they're separated, they are fantastic. And when they're together, it's amazing as well. Now, the big reason why the Colorado Avalanche might look to potentially trade in the offseason Rantanen's rights, or unfortunately just lose him for nothing, is because they've just paid Nathan McKinnon a big contract a couple of years ago after winning the Stanley Cup. Cale Makar's contract's going to expire soon in the next 2 years, 3 years potentially. So that's going to be a big ticket of close to $50 million. And you just re-signed Devon Toews as well. Also, the goaltending is really rough. And the over-compassing fact, too, is the Avalanche's depth has just been really rough this past year alongside last year as well. So if you're paying another forward almost $14 million, it's really going to put your team in a tough bind when you're looking to fill out that bottom 6. You're not going to keep finding Jonathan Drouin type of players to take league minimum deals. And even if they do play well for a year, they're going to require to be paid even more for their services in the future. So it's definitely a tough situation for the Avalanche. It's one of the tough parts about there being a hard cap. But that's just a little bit about Mikko Rantanen and the situation with the Colorado Avalanche. And now let me discuss if I think this is a smart investment for the Blackhawks to give him what Pierre LeBrun is predicting, $14 million, maybe even a little bit more for the next 7 years. All right, so I gave the pretext, the situation for the Avalanche. I painted the picture. I talked a little bit about Mikko Rantanen, what type of player he is. And now I'm going to discuss if I think the Blackhawks should invest in a guy like Mikko Rantanen if he were to hit the open market. And to keep things simple, yes, absolutely. I'm a bit confused about all the debate on whether or not a team like the Blackhawks should give $14 million to Mikko Rantanen. You don't see consistent 100-point players hit the open market often. Gaudreau hit the open market a couple years ago in 2022, albeit he wasn't a consistent 100-point player, but he was definitely over a point per game player. Panarin hit the open market in 2019. That's really the big 2 examples of players who are of that caliber or close to that caliber who have hit the open market. So these players do not hit the open market much, if at all. So if a guy like that hits open market, you got to sign him. The Blackhawks don't have any forwards who even have that potential. Even if they pick in the top 5, there's no guarantee that that player will even reach Mikko Rantanen's potential. He is for sure a top 10 player in the NHL. He'd be a great compliment alongside Connor Bedard. And again, too, the Blackhawks, I know it's important. You want to conserve cap space. The last regime was terrible. It mismanaged the cap. But if you're investing $14 million into a player who's consistently been a 100-point player over the past couple of years, up until he's 35, I don't really hate that idea at all. Mikko Rantanen and, in general, top 10 players tend to play really well into their completely into their late 30s. So I have no concerns about his play falling off. He's shown no indication of that. He plays with good speed. He plays with good pace. I think he'd be a great fit in the Blackhawks system and alongside Connor Bedard. And then you also, even if you separate the two, you still then have two really solid lines. One's run by Connor Bedard, the other is run by Mikko Rantanen. So I think that makes the top six look much better. I think that makes the power play look a lot better. And then you have your Nazar, your Moore, your Lardis, your other players as well to fill in those roles in the top six, in the bottom six as well. And then everyone slots in. And worst case scenario, in the next couple of years, you can look to potentially move Seth Jones if need be. But I don't think that contract, even with a Bedard extension looming and a Rantanen contract, is really going to anchor the team like we saw with deals like Brent Seabrook a couple of years ago with the Dynasty Blackhawks. And $14 million, it's 15% of the cap right now, a little over that. So definitely one of the bigger tickets that the Blackhawks have ever signed. But with the cap expected to go up to $92.5 million next year and take a potentially even bigger jump to close to $100 million the upcoming season, or not this upcoming season, but the season after this upcoming season, I think this is a no-brainer for the Blackhawks if you were to hit the open market. Now, at the end of the day, players like this do not hit the open market, as I've discussed. It's more than likely that it's more than likely that the Avalanche will resign Mikko Rantanen and he'll remain a Colorado Avalanche for the rest of his career. But this is just a fun exercise. I saw the Pierre LeBrun news. I know a lot of Blackhawks fans have discussing if they should look to invest $14 million into a guy like Mikko Rantanen. And once again, to keep things short and simple, and for my TLDR, absolutely, I think it makes perfect sense for the Blackhawks to chase a big fish. We saw Kyle Davidson try to pursue Jake Guentzel last year. Obviously, his rights got traded to the Lightning, and he resigned there. So we'll see what happens. But again, if a guy like Mikko Rantanen hits the open market, it would be a colossal failure if Kyle Davidson did not give his best offer to a guy like that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys think this is a good idea for the Blackhawks? Should they pay $14 million for the next 7 years if Mikko Rantanen were to hit the open market? I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts down below. Do you guys think he might go somewhere else? Avalanche fans, do you think that they're going to wind up finding an extension with Mikko Rantanen? Do you guys think you guys will figure that out? Let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Be sure to also like this video, subscribe to our channel as well, and I'll talk to you guys on the next video. See ya.